gender, but also for you in Parliament, some of the advances that we've done when it comes to the constitutional review. I want to welcome all of you who have made time to come from across government and Parliament. Especially, I want to thank the women leadership in Parliament, from the chair of the Women's Caucus to all, and the He4She champions. I see some MPs from APC who are in there. I see the legislative committee chair and many He4She champions. On the back of the 20 million notes, which is my favorite note, it says education for gender empowerment. People usually think gender is just female. They forget that male is also part of that. So it really is for all of us. And it's great to see champions who are here. So I want to thank all the members of Parliament, the presidential advisors, the ministers, the civil society who are here. It really is wonderful for me to be in this room and to have this opportunity to engage because I feel blessed. Say any man that is quoted with two women will have long life. I think in my case, I have two colleagues on either side of me, the Deputy of Justice, who is acting Minister of Justice currently, and who will speak to many of the things we're talking about, because it's about law reform, it's about Parliament, it's about the Constitution, and she is one of the most important people around. And to my left as well is somebody who leads all the women in Parliament, who's the champion of women, in addition to the committee that she chairs, which is health, which has a lot of impact on the women as well. This is testament to President Yu's vision to have women, over 30% of the women in cabinet, 30% of the people in cabinet are women, and that is also true in Parliament. The goal of this dialogue and this meeting is a continuation of something we'll be doing. As you heard from the Parliament Secretary, I chair an implementation committee across several other things. From people who are young people, and most importantly, to women and gender. Recommendations in tripartite also must be seen through a gender lens. And it is important for us because as a government, not just have we advanced the Child Rights Act, which has several components there for gender, for girls in particular. We have the Independence Members Bill that was passed on child marriage, and the Land Commission Act, which has several components on gender, and really also the Finance Act. When we speak about financial inclusion, there are many laws that we're doing. But today is about electoral reform. Today's conversation is about the tripartite. And there are several recommendations within the tripartite, amongst those 80 that are pertaining to gender. And in this case, we're prioritizing women because women are historically removed and marginalized. And the principle of radical inclusion says, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter your religion and gender, we must actively change laws, we must actively change infrastructure, we must actively take actions that lead to equity. So as we go deeper in, I wanted to highlight some 6 recommendations which are related to women. Recommendation 36 calls for the amendment of electoral laws to establish a gender balance nominating committee for the appointment of ECSL and EPRC. Just to put this into context, we have the constitutional review that has been ongoing for 20 years. And then we have the tripartite that has been ongoing now for a year. What the AG, the acting Minister of Justice, will speak to you about is that the government already has taken those constitutional review instruments and the tripartite recommendations that are in line and in advocating for electoral reform, and we have passed those in cabinet. And now those have been gazetted, and they will be laid into Parliament for your endorsement. And so this conversation is really for you to hear it from us, for you to engage with us, for you to ask any questions to see where we need to go. So there is a recommendation there for a nominating body recommendation, different for ECSL and GPRC, and there is a move there for that to be gender balanced. Recommendation 51 says that there's a National Youth Development Act. It speaks to having youth representation. Says that sometimes they say it's difficult it is true, for women to have opportunities in governance and politics as men. And this is because of the historical and structural challenges that there are. Because historically, some men have feel the women should not be at the front. It means the economic opportunities are different. And we know that politics often requires spending money. So recommendation 52 provides that the nomination fees for women should be reduced by half compared to men, so that we incentivize more women to be participating in politics. Recommendation 73, for example, speaks to the election-related violence as we define it, to include gender-based violence. So that includes sexual attacks, that includes anything that is targeting women specifically. Because often when we speak about election-related violence, we know there are many stories where people get raped. There are many stories where women receive especially horrible things get said to them during the election hearing process. And one of these recommendations is that those abuses should be listed as election-based. And recommendation 78 speaks to the 30% of women representation across all electoral levels, across all layers. Certainly, this is also embedded within the PEA, and when we speak to the issues related to first past the vote of PR, where one of the advantages of PR is to ensure that our women, without PR, we will not have as many women in the room here. And so it is important that PR is not just spoken about from some leadership of political parties or selfish views, but this is about including as many women as possible. It is important for us, honorable members of parliament, Madam Minister, civil society, technical experts, that when we speak of the National Development Plan, we are intentional in how we engage on these processes. That these amendments that we are speaking about here, you hear them, and you go ahead and support us in that process once it gets to Parliament. Maybe we will send the Deputy Minister of Justice and not the Minister of Justice to the Parliament on that day when it's going there. So I really want to give you as much of an opportunity to express your views. I want to hear from you. You have reached out to me and talking about the challenges of females in Parliament in general, and we want to hear those. We want to hear about these recommendations in specific. So I want to thank